So I'm once in a suburb of Detroit, and I'm at a very, very Muslim restaurant with mostly Iraqi immigrants. And at our table is like 3 Muslims and 17 white people. And in this massive crowd of mostly Iraqi people, Alice Fuller. And my friend Oz, being funny, Oz the Muslim screams jihad as loud as he can. And the whole table goes whoosh. Everybody in the restaurant goes whoosh and looks at us. I'm like, you're going to get me killed. And so right before we hit record, Alice, I said, you're going to get me killed. Alice
it's not funny.
Fuller. And it's not even like the same story at all, but how fun is that? So glad to have you on.
You shouldn't do that.
I wrecked you right off the bat, Alice. Listen,
that got me.
I got to tell you something.
That's not nice. That's so not nice.
I know he's a bad man is all I can tell you. Did we all want to have to leave that restaurant.
Oh,
Alice
man.
Fuller
Yes, sir.
is here with us. You are from Sheer Social. You are Sheer Social. When you and I met the first time was at something like, I don't know, Blog World or Social Media Marketing World, one of those. And then we met again at Digital whatever in Atlanta, was it? I don't remember.
Here's what's funny. Now, the first time we met was actually online. The first time we met was online. It was Twitter.
What was the first time we hugged?
The first time, I don't know, but it was another brown chick, wasn't me. So the second time we met was the first time we met in person was at the Internet Summit. That's right, the Internet Summit. But we've been talking online for over a decade.
Was Internet Summit the one in North Carolina?
Yep.
Where's Internet Summit? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But there's a couple of Internet Summits though, but we met at the one in North Carolina.
Right. Well, because that one overlaps with the other guys who bought it or whatever. So anyway, we met there in person then. Okay, cool. Because you knew my penchant for quoting out really dumb 90s hip hop, and we chatted on the Twitter.
We did that interesting interview about what you could learn from old school hip hop and apply it to marketing.
That we did.
It's still one of my favorite interviews.
That we did. Because my opinion of hip hop is that it ended about late 90s. It ended right about when Jay-Z started rapping about his art collection instead of other stuff. That's about when I gave up on, really good quality hip hop.
I'll extend it up to maybe 2002, 3, 4, somewhere in there.
And who do you get when you go that far?
I'm working at BET Awards. I don't know who anybody is now. I know the 3 major ones. I know Drake. I know Kendrick. Yeah. Okay.
Childish Gambino, right? He's still out there.
Yeah, but I know him mostly as an actor.
I know. And sadly, not so much a stand-up anymore. I loved him as a stand-up.
And I never knew him as a stand-up. I discovered that really late. Really, 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 really late. But anybody else, like we were talking about the BET Awards being on CBS, which is like sacrilege. It's just like,
talk about that, because you've been on the red carpet. That was one of your gigs in life, right? It was being down there on that red carpet. Yeah, what was that like?
At first, it's like, ooh, I'm on the red carpet. Ooh, I get to interview and meet celebrities. Ooh. And then after I don't know, the 10 of them, it's like, ooh, I'm on the red carpet. When the hell are they going to show up? It's hot.
How many times you got to ask people what they're wearing and stuff like that? Is that really something you're made to ask them?
No, for me, because my whole background is television and film. So I'm not here to ask you about what you're wearing. That's all of that fashion stuff came a little later. That was after my whole blogging career. You want to call it that. Of it. Yeah, it was. We were even thinking about. Oh, that's a nice dress. Oh, that's girl. That's nice. So tell me about this new movie. Tell me about this role. Da 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 da. So that's Versace. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't have a clue. so not into fashion. I don't know, but it's work. That's the thing that people don't understand. Because you have to get to the carpet when the press person or whoever's doing whoever's running the carpet tells you to get there. Then when you get there, you hope that you got a good spot on the carpet. And the reality of that is, if you are a certain type of press, you are moved to what we used to call the ghetto end of the carpet. And if you are another type of press, because the carpet, it does have some methodology in the madness. Usually the carpet starts with the paparazzi, with the photo. And then, which is why when you see E! Entertainment and all of that, they always show you the celebrity stop and pose. You know, you always got to do the over the shoulder. Okay. So then, not men, just females.
No,
then,
sorry. We just look very.
I mean, the way things are going now, you can do whatever you want. So then once you get past the paparazzi, then you get into video, television, all your the E! Entertainments, Access Hollywood, and that and the other. Then once you get past them, then it gets into print and radio. And then when I was doing it, they would put all the online people at the ghetto end of the carpet. And what I mean by the ghetto end of the carpet is if you were Black press, at that particular time, they didn't deem it as, and they didn't think online press was wasn't important, resourceful for their clients then, because you're just a little blog, okay, whatever. And then people got smarter, and with the evolution of things, it's like, online finally moved up to the middle of the carpet, depending on what outlet you were. But a lot of Black press still ended up at what we call the ghetto end of the carpet, because there was a whole bunch of people together in one little space, all crowded in one little space. And then you're at the very end of the carpet. The way the carpet runs, most of your celebrities, the one you really want to talk to, they don't show up until maybe 30 minutes before they need to be in the venue, before they shut the door and start recording. So they don't have time to talk to you because they spend all of their time at the other end of the carpet. So you spend a lot of energy. Whatever the celebrity name. Can right over here. And it's just like, depending on the publicist and depending on the celebrity, they may stop it. They may give you a little shine and give you, a little blurb, little sound bite that might be usable.
Sure.
Or because at that point, they got to rush to get in their seats, because at this point, it's a TV production now.
That's right.
And everybody needs to be on set. So they might usually rush past you. So that was a big issue. That's another issue.
So I have a question about that, and then I'll move on. But when you're there, like you said, your digital press, your Black digital press, you couldn't be there. Like you couldn't be any further back in the ghetto part of the carpet, like you're calling it.
Yeah.
You had two options, I guess. One was, say ooh in a way that makes them all pay attention, or like get to know some of those publicists ahead of time. Did you start developing relations with publicists? Is that how you made it work, Alice?
I figured it out early. It's just like, look, publicist lady, man, but mostly females. Yeah. Let me holler at you a minute before the actual red carpet. If I can find your email or whatever I can get, and I can prove my value to you, because the publicists play a big role in it too, because the publicists are leading people down the carpet, and the publicists are looking down at whatever outlet is on the carpet, because most of the time you will get we call it a placemat that says your name. Mm-hmm. So that's where you're supposed to be. So when the publicist comes down the carpet, she or he will look down and say, okay, so that's where E is. Okay, that's where Access Hollywood is. Okay, so that's where BuzzFeed is. Okay, cool. And then they'll go back to their client and take them where they want them to stop.
Got it.
So you have to prove your value. I shouldn't say have to, but it would behoove you as an entertainment blogger starting out to make those connections before the event. Because when we were doing it, this was over 10 years ago. I mean, all you had was email. And at that particular time, a lot of publicists weren't on Twitter yet. That was not a thing yet. So you had to figure out how to meet them at another event and make a connection however you can make it.
Right.
So that when they saw you on the carpet, they would stop and let their clients talk to you. Otherwise, you're in competition with everybody. You know, you gotta do what you do, or when you're small and petite like me, people have a tendency, you know, to look over you. You kind of sneak up to the middle of the carpet and you get between some tripods that are above your head, and you stick your little microphone out and your little camera, and you get the interview.
So I need to point something out for people who don't know. And Carrie in the comments, thank you. I didn't see that message. I need to point something out. So I'm 6'2". Alice Fuller is not 6'2".
No, Alice Fuller is 5'2".
Inner
and
heels.
Relatively petite, and I'm holding on to in size. so this corona, if I don't start exercising soon, that's going to be a mess. But
you could fit in a pant leg though. You're a small person in that way. Yeah, big energy though.
I'm a pocket filler. Yeah,
big energy. Fun fact from Carrie in the comments: Alice earned production credits on popular shows and live TV events, including the Parkers, House Hunters, and the 75th Academy Awards.
Yeah, I've worked a lot of award shows, almost all of them. I think the only major award show I didn't work was the one with Dick Clark, the AMAs.
Oh yeah, sure. How about
that's the only one I didn't work on in production. But then I also worked award shows as press, so right. I'm seeing it from both sides.
Got it. Interesting. Were you at Golden Globes around the times that Ricky Gervais was hosting as well?
Did I do Golden Globes? No, I did Screen Actors Guild.
Oh,
I don't think I did Golden Globes.
Gotcha. Interesting. So what makes you make that leap? I'm going to launch Sheer Social. I know, like, this is my Scott question. Scott Woodard always asks the question, you know, kind of, how'd you come up and where were some of the flaws along the way? How did you decide to launch Sheer Social, and what made that be what it is?
Well, at the time I was working as associate producer for House Hunters on HGTV. And I knew that gig was going to end soon, as gigs do, because that's why they call them gigs, not jobs. So, although it is a job, you know, when you work in entertainment, the mindset is freelance, and the mindset is I'm only here as long as they keep doing the show, or until they lay you off for whatever reason. And so I knew that gig was going to end, and I'm like, you know what? I need another job because I like to eat and do all those, you know, essential things to live. But I'm also in this mindset of the entertainment industry is beginning to turn its lens more toward online content. What they've done on television, they're now throwing up online and monetizing it. So I need to be in that space because that's where the industry is going. How can I do that? And it just so happens I was talking. Yes, I can't say I was first, but I know I wasn't first. But the reality for me was, why don't wait? You know where the industry is going.
That's right.
So don't wait until everybody else is there. Go ahead and get there, and then you can welcome them in.
Right. So you're ready to catch them when they get there, I guess. I don't mean first, but I mean like the people you're already dealing with in this way. You run over here and go, okay, now I'm here for you now. And they are like, oh, there's our friend Alice that we know, and we could go with her.
What you doing? What you doing on the red carpet? I thought I would see you in the production office.
Right.
Girl, that's yeah. So, so end of one gig, and it's just like, I'm tired of gigs ending. I need something of my own.
Right.
Something that if it's successful, if it fails, it's all on me. I can't be laid off. I can't be fired. And the other reason is too, I want E and entertainment, all these other places that I'm going to apply to see my value. The resume is only one little thing, and they go through them like, you know, like a hot knife through butter. It's like, oh yeah, and then they're only going to hire their friends anyway. So, because that's the nature of the business most of the time, a lot of the time. So I need something to complement that resume that shows I can write, I can edit, I can shoot, I'm a TV producer. Damn it, don't let this blog title fool you. I had a life before I came to LA, and creating that entertainment blog helped me kind of showcase. You were talking about me being multifaceted.
Yes.
I could show I'm not a one pony show. I can do this. You can put me in any TV production environment, and I'm not uncomfortable, except for maybe some assistant directing. Anything that has to do with clocks and time and math.
Math is hard. Well, those TV wheels always blow my mind. Like, think about a show like this. I mean, show such as it were, right? But think of a show like this. I'm not looking at any wheel. I don't have to tell you we got like 14 seconds to go to break, so I got to speed you up. I don't have to know secret sign language to get you. When I ever saw one of those wheels, I was a guest on Dr. Phil. There's like 14 people wandering around behind that man going.
Yep. We all got gang signs. 5 minutes, 30 seconds. End it. Wrap it up. Yeah, it's a whole
guest stocks. Hate this guy.
I've never done that.
You didn't do that one. No. So then you start blogging, you start making some stuff. What are we love talking about failure. So what's the early failure? What's something that didn't work out? What's something where you're like, I have this and you didn't have it, and then you picked up later?
Let's see. What was a big...
Doesn't have to be big. It could be a little failure. Scott's not, he's not greedy.
Well, I'm thinking at the end of, when you're trying to start your business, you got to figure out what you're going to name the thing.
Right.
And my first blog was called Hollywood Live and Work, because I lived in Hollywood and I worked in Hollywood, right? But you forget people see LIVE as live. It's like Hollywood Live and Work. Heifer is live. It's live, damn it. You don't live and breathe.
Wait, how do we jump from that to sheer social?
Well, the thing is, when you're blogging, because I'm like, okay, blogging is all well and wonderful, but I'm also one to see the trends. It's just like blogging alone is not going to cut it for you. So social media, this was around 2010-ish. And at this point, you already had YouTube, you already had Facebook, Twitter, and everything, because you needed those tools just to distribute your blog content. Because blogging, for those people that think once you write the blog and hit publish, that's it, I got news for you. That's just phase one.
Right. Right.
And that right there might have been my big learning curve. It's just like, I spent time writing this blog post, damn it, and y'all are not seeing it.
Yeah, where's the love?
Why?
Where's my love?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, you mean I got to distribute it beyond Blogspot? Yeah.
That's where this all goes. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, you got to learn the tools, baby girl. Well, I wasn't a baby girl then. I ain't a baby girl now, not really. But you got to learn. I ain't been baby girl in a long time. But
I can't see someone saying that and surviving the contact with you when you say they say that to you.
Well, it depends on the culture you're in. Because if an older gentleman would have rolled up at me and say, "Hey, look here, baby girl," and I know he doesn't mean any disrespect. It's all in context. It's like I know he does not mean any disrespect, and my proud, full-grown, petite woman is not insulted.
That's right.
Sometimes we get insulted over the smallest things. He didn't mean any disrespect. So just. He could be a blessing to you. Just listen to what he has to say. Now, if he gets ignorant with it, then you can get, then you come with, look here, sir, I need you to address me this way. Otherwise, we don't need to talk.
That's right.
But until then, baby girl, there's a 60-something-year-old woman sitting there. I wish somebody would still call me baby girl. Okay, so.
I hear you there. Oh, you're the best, Alice. Alice, I have a question. I'm going to override my other question. I changed my mind. You are all the things. You are a person of color. You are a woman. You are a woman in the tech space. You are all those things. You just said it. You have to earn your spot at the table. You have to be, and Roberto Blake was on, he said, you got to be extra, right?
Yeah.
So how much is that? How much fighting have you had to do? How much did you have to slam up against that? How many times did you have to correct a nice gentleman who was using baby girl in the wrong way, even figuratively so?
Well, I remember I had a potential client, and he was looking at my content. And he was like, "So, can you write for white people?"
Sorry. I didn't expect that sentence. I'm sorry. Can you write for white people?
He was like, well, I see all of your content, it's mostly Black people, and I just want to make sure. And then I had to do that Negro spiritual pause. You two ways you can because then in a millisecond you got to figure out how to respond to that. Now you can come off and say how you feel about this whole situation, or you can try to be more professional. In that moment, I chose to be more professional and try, as we often do as Black people, whatever else we are. Mm-hmm. Sir, as you can see, my subject and verb still agree. And if I can do that for Black people, surely I can do that for you. We still speak the same language. And so then, you have to decide, is this a conversation I even want to continue to entertain? Because if you're going to be this ignorant, why bother? It's just like, you know what? I'm past it. Or my favorite is, it's kind of funny though. I was interviewing for this Oscar party gig. And this is where I lived in LA because I'm in North Carolina now. And this lady that I was interviewing, she was throwing the big Oscar, one of these big Oscar parties. And I had to go into what's called Topanga Canyon. To me, I think it's Smurfville.
Topanga Canyon, some kind of place. I've been there.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, this is Smurfville. You got to ride all through these hills and all these other places. So I get there and it's just like, first, I got to go to your house. We can't eat at a Starbucks like regular people, but it's LA. So I go to her house. I go in. Now, remember, I'm from North Carolina. I'm a Southerner. When you go into somebody's house, you stay exactly where they put you until told otherwise. We don't venture into other rooms, especially when you Black. You just don't. It's just like, So she positioned me in the kitchen at the kitchen table. She was on a call, so I have to wait. So while I'm waiting, I'm looking around the house, and there's this cat. Mm-hmm. And the cat is like, "Ooh, Harpo, who this woman?" And I'm like, "Hey, cat, how you doing? Just don't do nothing awkward that I might have to hurt you." Right.
Stay over there, animal.
Stay over there. I mean, I like cats in general, but I'm like, okay, cat, this is my interview. Don't mess up my interview, okay? I need this gig, okay? So she gets off the phone and we go through our usual. So have you worked a party before? Have you done this? Have you done that? Yada, yada, yada. And just when I thought I was like, cool, got the gig, everything is wonderful. She says, well, I have a question. And I'm like, oh, hell, here we go.
Here it comes.
And I'm sitting in her house. I don't know where the knives and all the exits are. So, so let me, okay, breathe, Alice. Just figure out, just listen to the question. Well, I always thought Black people were afraid of cats.
What?
I lie to you. I lie to you not. And it's just like,
what the hell?
So now I have to literally sit here and explain to this my boss now as to why she has perception that Black people are afraid of cats. Because I don't even know what in her childhood would give her that thought. But
fairies are afraid of cats. Fairies are afraid of cats in fantasy stories.
I'm like, well, who hurt you as a grown woman? Not even as a child, because a child would know better. So I said, well, look here. Let me explain something to you. Remember when you've ever seen Egyptian hieroglyphics? I went way back. Way back. Ever seen Egyptian hieroglyphics? And when you look at Egyptian hieroglyphics, sometimes there's a picture of a cat. She looked at me like, I don't see the correlation between Egypt, Black people, and cats. So I said, well, see, it is how Egypt is in Africa. Egypt is in Africa. That's where Black people come from. Well, that's where almost everybody comes from. Watch more Discovery Channel, people. So, so just DNA, all of that. Okay, so because it's sometimes you have teaching moments.
You really
And
do.
Sometimes I think we get so, I'm so tired of this, and not understanding that sometimes you get tired of being the teacher. That indeed is true. But there are other moments when you just step into it because, one, I needed that job. Let's be real. I need, and I want this job. Okay, that's one. Two, I'm in her house. Nobody knows I'm up in Topanga Canyon. If I get lost,
Yeah, there's banjo music playing at all times in Topanga Canyon.
You think it is just like, this brown girl on the milk looks real familiar. She's missing. That would be me. So you can't cut up people's house. Okay. So I was trying to make the correlation to her that, this history with Black people and cats goes way back. And then fast forward a couple of months, and the movie with Halle Berry, which was not one of her best movies.
She won a Razzie for it, Alice. That's the opposite of one of her best movies.
Catwoman comes out, right?
Yep.
And I'm sitting in the movie theater, and at the beginning of the movie, they got hieroglyphics and a black cat. And I was like, I hope that heifer is watching this movie, because I couldn't explain it to her. I got a job though, but still she could not make the correlation in her mind about Egypt, Black people, hieroglyphics.
Alice,
you got the job. Well, thank you. That's
Alice,
all I wanted. I
got to tell you something. So I never, ever, I'm not a very smart person. I do a lot of things. I make a lot of mistakes.
Lies, myths, and fairy tales, but go ahead.
It's all fairy tales. I'm telling you that. But listen, so I had to tell you this thing. So I had a double booking for today. I also had the James Andrews here, and he's on the show a week from now. So he's in here commenting his face off. He lives 10 minutes from Topanga. So how strange the world is that this happens. How strange that, James, who I say, oops, and I F it up for him, and he comes to see you anyway because he's got nothing to do because I blew it. So, not a very smart person. I am, buddy. So, and James and I are going to tell some stories next week too, Alice. But here you come with a Topanga story. The man is 10 minutes away, which is scary to ask him, where's up in the hills.
Maybe Topanga has evolved since then. I mean, maybe she saw the movie. So, maybe. But at the end of the day, like I said, sometimes there are moments when you're at the right place at the right time to deliver the right message. And it takes a little growth to understand those moments. And you can be all in your feelings, because you can still be all in your feelings and still depart some knowledge. Sure. Because once again, I'm in her house. So if I were to get as ignorant as I felt at that moment, like that wouldn't have come off well.
Wouldn't have helped.
You think people call the police now?
Right. Hello.
I still have to get out of Topanga Canyon. Let's be real. It takes a minute to get out of Topanga Canyon to get back into
I know you saw LA. That scare where they set up the 911, especially for white people to call in when they're encountering a black person. Listen, I am known for a very, very, very bad thing, which is making awful segues that don't make sense. 90-degree segues.
These niggas do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of refrigerators, so this is almost that, but it is not that. By the way, James says on the way out the door, no, Topanga's stuck and Angelinos are in their own world and devoid of interacting with black people. Still. But Alice, we were going to talk just briefly about Snap's really interesting contribution to Juneteenth, and people don't know what that is, so you maybe have to explain for a minute, because they only kind of maybe saw it glancing by, but nobody uses Snap, so you have to help explain it.
Well, Snapchat, for those over 65, is not what you do to prepare your green beans. Okay. This is an actual application that young people seem to like a lot, and some older people too. And as with most apps, it's content creation, it's video, it's graphic. It's kind of like TikTok without a whole bunch of dancing, kind of, sort of. All right. So, everybody now is sensitive or become aware, or some might say woke or fake woke, but that's a whole nother conversation, about Black history, or you want to learn more about Black history, and you want to show your support, which is all well and wonderful too. But when you're going to honor something like a Juneteenth celebration, do your history first. Wikipedia, Google is your friend. And if you don't have any Black friends, Google is right there for you. Okay. Okay.
If you don't have Black friends.
Well, here, let me clarify that, because some of you have Black friends, but just because they're Black friends doesn't necessarily mean they know Juneteenth. So let's not, and right. I know somebody, how dare she say that? You know your friends. Okay, so you have to pick the right Black friends who can give you the context as to why. When you create a lens, and it's red, black, and green, which is the African nationalist colors. For those of you who think it's just Bob Marley, it started before him. Okay. So and then you apply some swirling chains. So you got African nationalism and swirling chains. And then to use this particular filter on Snapchat, you tell people, put your little face in the middle of the thing and then smile. Smile? You got to be kidding me. Smile? Do you know how racist that is to have Black people, especially, or people of color, smile? Especially when you got the red, black, and green. The ancestors are not happy, first and foremost. That's one. Two, if you understood a little bit, just a little bit about this whole smile thing and the mammy and minstrel show and Snap, didn't you have this problem before wherein you did something that was perceived racist? And I would think after that first, you would get a little bit more educated, a little bit more enlightened about, well, maybe we should first, we don't have any Black friends, so maybe we should ask some Black marketers. Well, but we did hire a Black person to create the look and feel. Okay, but did you ask her about implementation? Because she might have saved you right now. If you'd have asked her, well, how do you feel if we did this with your creation? She probably would have told you. Don't do that.
That's because we hire people for their hands and not their minds, even in those moments, right? Exactly. We didn't ask her what she thought.
And then the sadder part is when you're looking at the comments, because I love reading the commentary that comes after. There are some people who really didn't get it. It's like, well, at least, but you broke the chains by smiling. Negro spiritual sigh.
James loved that quote. He's wandering around with it right now. He's telling his wife right now. Cool.
It's just like, that's because there's a generation of people. There's a whole bunch of people who are just learning about the Tulsa, Oklahoma, thanks to the Watchmen.
Right.
And this whole history that has been whitewashed. And now 40 something years later, people who have degrees in history are like, they never taught me that, even in my master's class. Yeah. So here's the thing. Get ye some qualified African-American, Asian, gay, get you a hodgepodge of people from different backgrounds, different cultures on the decision-making level of things. Because, it's always, this was created and it wasn't approved before it went out. You should have stopped that at the creation phase. Duh.
I think that maybe the Nashville newspaper there, the Tennessean, I think they're hiring. So maybe they can help out with that too after running that great ad. It's been an interesting handful of weeks as far as since the launch of the protests. And we don't have to talk too much about it, but it's just interesting that as people are trying to make their point, the point is being made over and over and over and over again. And now there's like stringent laws on the books about if you screw with a statue, that's 10 years. But we still haven't even done any justice for a whole bunch of people who got murdered, except for they resigned from their job. I'd love to kill a few people and quit I'll quit Chris Brogan Media if I could kill some people first, just not black people. As it turns out, I have a different agenda than them. But it just seems like a weird time. Is it hard?
He said that. He said that. I just want you to recognize who said that. He said.
Yeah, exactly. That guy right there. He said, I'll tell you, it is. So Carrie points out Downton Abbey had period etiquette experts on staff for the series. Companies really should have some cultural consultants. That's so true.
It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do, but people have a tendency to lean into their fear. I don't want to appear racist and I don't want to appear stupid. Well, at this point, you look what that created. Too late. You should have gone ahead and hired somebody and then have that conversation. No, they're not easy conversations. They're not. And yes, you may feel a little vulnerable because you're out of your sphere of knowledge. But we as Black people, we go about our lives every day going places where we're the only person of color. We're the only person that can speak, and we're the only, and every time, there's always almost someone that's going to ask you something about, well, I was watching Blackish. Okay.
You know where that conversation goes. There's only one place.
And it's just like, I was watching, I saw an hour of BET. That's white on, right? Okay. But because I can see it now when BET comes on, when the BET Awards comes on CBS for the first time.
We talked about that before we hit record.
As I'm watching, because the CBS demographic is generally not the MTV one, right? So it's just like, or the BET one for that matter. So it's just like, okay, what is this? Okay. But
do you think the nation's going to have that moment?
No, I think at this point, because once again, look here, rappers, look here, artists and everything. Just because we're not, in the studio and everything, and you're at home, there are rules and regulations. There are levels to this. What we are not going to do is this. Now, I know you're artists and you feel like you have freedom of expression, but you're also business people. Now, if you want to go through that whole drama we sent Janet Jackson through, or would you not?
And that was just one nipple.
That was just one brown nipple. So at the end of the day, I suspect there will be a memo, there will be some expectation, but there will be some, look, this is CBS. Don't get it twisted. This is the first time this has ever happened. Now, when it was just on cable, it's cable. You can get away with some things. But now that we are on CBS, this is a different kind of thing. And so, yes, you can still be artists, but there is still an expectation. They may not tell you it's an expectation, but trust me, the corporate is probably like, before we decide to broadcast the BET Awards, can we have a chit chat?
Let's do it. I thought we had to talk about your IG thing too, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we got to talk about Instagram. So before we run out of time, because tomorrow, speaking of messaging, I've been getting a lot of phone calls, and I'm sure a lot of other Black people, brown people, Asian people, just different people of color in general have been getting these phone calls about, we want to show our support, but we don't know what to say. And we don't want to appear ignorant. We don't want to appear unintelligent. And we want it to be appear as sincere as we feel. Because we really mean it. And we're really going to do something beyond just this post. But we got to start somewhere. So I've been having those conversations for the last 2-3 weeks. Well, actually, for the last month, really. So I've invited a publicist on Tita Perry from Edie Perry and Associates Incorporated. And we're going to chat tomorrow on Instagram Live. That's the Sheer Social Instagram Live tomorrow at noon. And we're going to talk about
time for everybody around the world.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about messaging. What are the things you need to consider before you put out that post? because on one end, yes, you do want to show your support. Yes, you can do the black square. You can do all of that. But what you say and how you say it is real critical right now. So if you, especially small businesses who usually don't have publicists anyway, major corporations, they got Marcom, they got a whole team of people crafting that message before it goes out to the world. But a small business, which is usually just the owner is the publicist, is the Marcom department, their sanitation, you don't have a lot of those resources or a lot of that staff. And you may not know exactly how to craft that message so that you get across what you're trying to say and what you aim to express. And so that you get back the response that you hope. So that's why I've invited a publicist on to help primarily small business, but anybody who's looking for that guidance. Because as you can tell, I'm not that person in many instances.
You're not good at helping people be a good public, facing expression. That's so weird.
I work with publicists because social media is an arm of PR. Now, some people might like to look at them as separate entities. I do not.
Right.
I work under or with marketing and communications and with publicists so that we can all be on the same page. The moment you put social media out there by itself and your publicist is over crafting something else, you got a big problem, a huge problem, because the two are not going to jail. So that's a whole nother conversation. But when it really comes down to trying to craft it, because you get so stuck in the fear of looking stupid or sounding inauthentic, because we're all about being authentic in social media. That's so tomorrow noon. Now, if you're on the West Coast, that's 9:00. So just grab your little coffee or whatever it is you do in the mornings, and try to get the little mucus out your eyes. But you can just listen if you want to.
You can just listen. You don't need
you
your
can
eyes.
just listen. You just listen. And for those of you who don't know, you can still watch it on your computer, because Instagram Live now enables us to watch Instagram live streams on a desktop. Yay! Thank you, Versus. Hashtag. Thank you for that, because it hadn't been for you, Instagram wouldn't have made some of these changes that have been made to benefit live streamers. So tomorrow, but where's that public notice? Where's BuzzFeed talking about that? Where's TechCrunch giving credit to that? Where is Social Media Today talking about that? You got these new advances with Instagram because of Black culture,
right?
But where's that write up? I'll wait.
Nowhere.
So
invisible,
but quite visible to those who follow it, but
right.
Invisible to the people at large. You can only give credit to the individuals who pushed Instagram in that direction, who saw the value in it. It was like, oh, y'all got 500,000 people on one live stream? How you do that? Who are these people? First and foremost, we didn't even know Teddy Riley's still alive. Who is Teddy Riley?
No question. No question.
So yeah, tomorrow, join me noon Eastern Standard Time. Y'all got to do your own math, because I just told you I'm not, math is not my major. So for me, it's noon Eastern Standard Time on it. Everything else is like an hour or 3 hours. You do the subtraction on your own. And on the Instagram, Sheer Social, easy to find. I look like me. I don't hide behind my website. I don't hide behind my logos and things of that nature. I want you to see all this, so you're not confused with somebody else named Alice Fuller or somebody else named Sheer Social.
That's right. Hey, and in the news of somebody kind of making something a little right, I guess NASA's renaming their headquarters the Mary W. Jackson Building after the lady from Hidden Figures and all that sort of a thing. So it looks like
it's great. But what's crazy to me about that is it would have been so much more meaningful if these things had been done while these people were alive. To give people their flowers when they're dead is, I mean, it's a great, show of saying, you know what, we messed up, we're sorry. But I think about all the individuals that came and left and never got their due, and getting it. I mean, their family, may like it, and attend the new renaming and all of that. But it just would be nice to get it when these people were alive in order to really experience it. That would be great. But it's going to be ever evolving. So we're going to see more and more and more of this. I don't know what now we won't know what to, Aunt Jemima is gone, the Uncle Ben's, the Eskimo pie.
I know.
Land Lakes. I don't know what my mom's going to do because she won't recognize that box anymore.
There's just a field. There's no focal graphic in the field. Alice Fuller, you did it all. I mean, you made me laugh. You educated. You told us stories about your business. You brought everything to this, and you really delivered. Thank you so much for being my pal. Thanks for swinging by and catching up. Thanks for just being there out in the world doing what you're doing. It means a lot. So thank you. Glad you're here.
Thank you, sir, for the invitation.
Yeah. So now this is the part of the show where I kick everyone out because I'm done with them. Everybody already knows how to find you because I pushed that button so many times. Alice, I will see you around. We will send each other lyrics in the hidden parts of the world. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for swinging by. All right, everybody, you know the story. Get out of here already. I'm